Greetings, kind and precious travelers who have clicked on this video, I hope you are doing well. I'm Desi and this is episode 12.5 of my series, where I play Genshin Impact with only the first 8 characters I pull on the standard banner. I call it 12.5 because it's sort of a special episode where I'm going to answer your questions under my last video and my community post, while I'm making progress on my account. Thanks for the questions, everyone, they were all really fun to think about. I didn't expect to get this many, but I'm glad you all commented. I keep saying this, but I always love reading your comments. Okay, time to give you a quick recap and an outline for what I'm showing you in the video. Last time we were building our newest member, Xiangling. We have done her story quest, then completed Act 1 of the Liyue Archon quest and started Act 2, where I ran into a bit of a problem. You see, my account does not have an Anemo character, and this puzzle wants me to use Anemo to get to that platform up there. So I have to find a way around it or just give up. But I'm not one to give up so easily. I know of a glitch that launches you high up in the sky if you stay under a raft or a pier in Liyue Harbor. The longer you stay under it, the higher it launches you, and once you're in the air, you can just glide over to the platform. I don't know if the glitch has been patched or not, but I do know that I need a lot of stamina, so it's time to collect every Geo and Geoculi I can get on the map. To get reputation points, I'm gonna complete some of the Mondstadt quests. And I'm getting the camera because I want my Bogos binted. Also, the Windcatcher needs the Anemo hypostasis drops, so I'm gonna beat it up a few times. And it's time for your questions while I let everything play in the background. The question I'm opening with is, why did I start doing YouTube? The answer might be more simple than you would expect, because I felt like doing this challenge alone is no fun, so I thought it's better to just learn editing and share my experience with the world. That's it. What are my goals for the channel? Well, I'm gonna answer this in a roundabout way. When I got obsessed with Genshin challenges, I was going through a really stressful year, and this content always comforted me in a sense. It was just so chill and cozy. I felt like they were really helping me get through a lot at that time. Then I thought, if this has such an effect on me, then perhaps I could try and brighten the days of others as well. So my goal is basically reciprocating the enjoyment I got, and I didn't really think any further. What I also want to do is just leave something behind for future me to look back on and say, I really did that. So I could say my goal is to put more fun and consumable content on the internet. I hope I'm doing well in that regard. Next question. I got this from multiple people before. Do I stream somewhere? No, I don't. Am I gonna start streaming though? Possibly. Probably. I haven't thought of it myself, but it sounds fun. I definitely need to get better equipment for it and most importantly, a stable internet connection. As for when, well, here's the problem. I want to catch up to the present with my videos, so you won't see any spoilers on my first 8 only account. And that's going to take several months, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I didn't expect that editing is this time consuming when I recorded stuff, and I realized it way too late. I panicked when it dawned on me that I'm gonna constantly release old stuff. I know it's less fun this way, but I decided to just face my mistake and go on because I didn't want to give up so easily or ditch my followers either. So, I know I've said this many times, but I'm really happy that you're here and watching this series, and if I do start streaming, I'm hoping to see you there too. Okay, next question. What characters am I hoping to get? Xingqiu. He'd be an actual blessing from the gacha gods if I got him. I don't think I have to explain why. What are my favorite games? I haven't actually played that many games myself, but I watched a lot of playthroughs. That's how it started with Genshin 2. I've been a fan since 1.1, but I only joined during Gyrodori because I had no device to play on. I usually focus on the lore and characters first. That's why I really like games like Undertale or Night in the Woods or Persona 5. I also love the Zelda franchise, especially Majora's Mask. What inspired me to play Genshin? This character right here. Before that, I wasn't too interested in the game. I just watched some of the character demos, especially liked Mona's for example, but nothing really made me want to play it. Then I found a playthrough of the Unreconciled Stars event with Scaramouche in the thumbnail and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen fan arts of this guy, he looks annoying. And I went in blind and unexpecting, and then this scene happened and I was like, oh, well this is new. and it altered my brain chemistry forever, and then I knew I had to get him even though I didn't have a device to play on at that time. Then I got deeper into the lore and it completely swayed me over. What do I love about the game? Besides the story, which I don't really play but still rather watch, I really enjoy the open world exploration. I had a huge Breath of the Wild phase before Genshin, and my excitement carried straight over to this game. I know they get compared a lot, but when it comes to the lore or the combat system, and Genshin being a live service gacha game with like a heavy focus on its characters, the two games just feel completely different to me besides the general open world exploration stuff. And why should we gatekeep that if it works? What are my favorite teams? Which ones do I have the most fun with? Wanderer Hypercarry is my most invested team out of them all, and it's satisfying to see the improvements I keep adding to it, like getting C6 Faruzan or building my supports in general. I call it Muse Guardians because he must be protected at all cost. Kaching Aggravate. I'm an OG Kaching main, she was my first 5-star. She's just so comfortable to use, and when Dendo's release finally did her justice, I was so happy, but then getting Yao Yao was the moment I unlocked the full potential of this team, because I can bring Kazuha and Fischl with her now without worrying about dying. I know Baiju would be even better, but look how cute Yao Yao is, come on. Ocean Hued Clam Chi-Chi Hyperfridge. I really adore Chi-Chi. I am stubborn when it comes to building non-meta units, so I put her in a team where she can shine. I let everyone do their stuff first and then just go ham with Chi-Chi while healing everyone. It's satisfying as hell. Furina's gonna replace Yalan on this team when I get her, and Raiden possibly replaces Cookie in the future, and it's gonna peak. My current obsession is Navia, and I'm so happy my Albedo found his place on the team. I really need to build Xiangling though, because she has been neglected on my main account, sorry about that. But Navia's playstyle is just pure joy, and this is just the first time I use a unit that hits nukes instead of many smaller numbers, so she keeps surprising me. Lastly, this is my exploration team. It is maximized for speed and farming as efficiently as possible. You have Anemo Resonance, the token Pew Pew, but she's fast, plus the splash is just so satisfying with her. Then we have Nahida and Sayu for easy material collecting. This team can conquer almost any scenario except a few, like, elemental puzzles. I can't imagine replacing any of them from this. I call it Unagi Farmers because Wanderer's specialty needs 4 Unagi per dish. What the hell is this insanity? Who are my top 5 favorite playable characters? As for the 4 stars, Fischl, Kaya, Yunjin, Rosaria, and Kaveh. For the 5 stars, Wanderer, Albedo, Nahida, Furina, and Mona. I will elaborate on them later in the video. Oh hey, look where we are! This is Xiangling's favorite realm. Why don't I go in now that I have a full party? Although it's probably just Xiangling solo in the first chamber looking at the enemies. Let's dance, boys! Alright, back to your questions. Favorite NPC? Anjo all the way, like, hello, do you come here often? But I also really like Jet, Arama, or Caterpillar, for example. Who would be my best friend from the Genshin cast and why? Collei. She seems like the kind of person I could have deep conversations with. She's really sweet. Yoimiya is adorable too, but she's a little overwhelming for me. Who would be my Genshin enemy and why? I don't have any enemies. What's my favorite nation storyline and why? Fontaine was a banger, but the Sumeru Archon quest is still the dearest to my heart. Sumeru's release was huge for me. I was practically glued to my seat because everything just felt so new and exciting. I think I was the most engaged with Genshin during the early Sumeru patches, and the story had my undivided attention. I found most of the characters well written, and they were actively progressing the story with us. I especially liked the part in Aru village where the characters had to put their differences aside and cooperate to save Nahida. I could say a lot of positive things about Fontaine's Archon quest too. It was full of great twists, and I was thoroughly entertained, but the Sumeru Archon quest just feels special to me. That went well. Time to continue farming Geoculi with an appropriate signature. Which region would I live in? I would choose Sumeru because it's beautiful, and look at all those giant mushrooms, and the food sounds amazing, and it has the Aronara, and it has free healthcare, plus you get to meditate. The only thing that would bother me is the climate. I'm not used to humid places. So, now that I settled down in Sumeru, which darshan would I join? Well, the academia sounds harsh as hell, and as someone who's currently working on their thesis, it's not something I would want to experience again. That said, Sharavar is probably the darshan I would be most interested in. I love working with my hands, and I enjoy learning how something was made and what techniques were used in the process. Too bad the darshan has issues with funding, but at least that's relatable. Oh hey, now that I'm up here, let's try and glide over to that platform. It probably won't work, but I would be annoyed if it was all I needed. Not even close. Well, it was worth a shot. Alright, back to the questions. What region would I avoid? Do I believe in Yanfaism? All hail. Alright, one of your questions was so complex I had to pull up an Excel sheet for it. Here's the whole thing, pause if you want to read it. I realized I would repeat myself a lot, so I thought I would shorten it, and in the least favorite category I would only mention characters I actively dislike, because most of them are just lacking screen time or a good story quest or simply don't interest me. And when I talk about favorite characters, I mean story and personality, not the gameplay. Okay, what are my favorite characters per region? I'm going by their vision casing here. From Mondstadt, my favorite female characters are Fischl and Mona. I couldn't really choose. I wish I had as much guts as Fischl has, for doing what she likes regardless of what others think. She's just adorable. Mona is a very lore-heavy character, however, and she's just a caring and straightforward person in general, so I've always really liked her from the start. My favorite male characters from Mondstadt are Albedo and Kaya. Although if we only count characters born in Mondstadt, then it has to be Diluc. Like, what is up with you? Is your dad a harbinger? Is your mom a witch? Why are you so important? Also, he's such a gentleman, I just like his personality. I don't dislike anyone from Mondstadt. I wish they handled Eula better, I guess, but the character itself is fine. Okay, how about Liyue? My favorite female character from Liyue is about to become playable any second now. And it feels crazy. I have a weakness for sassy and prideful characters. Their personality is so fun, and there is always some kind of drama around them, so Cloud Retainer has always been one of my favorites, and I want her so bad. This question made me realize how few male characters there are in Liyue. I guess my favorite is Xiao. I really like the scenes with him in Perilous Trail. Who do I dislike from Liyue? I might disappoint some people here, but I never really liked Ningguang. She's presented as this powerful and influential character, but the way she does things just doesn't sit right with me. It's mostly the Jane Chamber's existence that bothers me. It communicates that she's above everyone in status and power, and that she doesn't wish to see eye to eye with the people around her, you know. And the fact that she sees the whole city from above feels very controlling and carries this message that I'm watching you. I certainly don't mind characters like her in stories, but it feels like the game tries to portray the things she does in a positive light, and it comes off as weird to me. Okay, who's my favorite from Inazuma? From the female cast, it's Yoimiya. Everyone deserves a friend like Yoimiya in their lives, even Yoimiya herself. I don't think I have to explain how much positive energy she radiates. My favorite male character from Inazuma is Ito. He's so entertaining, plus I really like his ideal of staying true to oneself, just like Xinyan. Come to think of it, he definitely got along with Xinyan. Do I dislike anyone? I have many nitpicks with the Inazuma Archon quest in general. I feel like things were rushed, and I hear that writers also had to censor a lot of it, so... I wish they handled Kokomi or Ei better, for example, and it was kinda weird to put a plot hole fix into Ayato's trailer and not in the game itself. I wish they gave Sarah more screen time. Yeah, it's not really the characters but the writing that I dislike. Which female character do I like from Sumeru? Nahida was a character I thought I was going to dislike. I'm not a fan of the damsel in distress or the 500 years old little girl tropes. I didn't have high hopes for her character, but oh how wrong I was. Her writing is excellent in my opinion. Her wisdom was shown through her actions and words instead of the writers saying, "She is smart, believe us." And despite her situation, she didn't feel like a weak and passive person at all. Also, her powers are hella intimidating, and Teyvat should be grateful that she doesn't have a hint of malice in her, because they'd be... Okay, to get these 3 stars for the Battle Pass EXP, I'm returning to the Spiral Abyss. Favorite male character from Sumeru? Well, technically he's not affiliated with any nation, but I count him here because of the vision casing. Why do I like him? Yeah. There's so much to this character that it's hard to even point out one thing. There's something so satisfying to watch about a character's corruption and redemption. I always like things like this in media. From the beginning, it was clear from the Pale Flame said that he used to be this neutral being and that his experiences turned him bitter. Being cast aside like worthless dross is a classic villain origin story. There is a lot of insecurity to build on, and then comes the layer of him being immortal and how it affects his views on human life, and it comes through his words pretty well. Like that monologue in the Fatui hideout revealed so much about him. The history of Inazuma is also so intertwined with his backstory, we keep running into clues about him. I loved how all of it accumulated in Sumeru and how he failed, because he needed to fail in order to grow. I don't mind the Irminsul erasure thing either, it shows how far he would have gone to correct his mistakes. Easy. Oh look, I almost got a wish! I'm just gonna take my revenge on this flower with Xiangling in our party. This was way too easy. And let's spend the one wish I just got. I really hope I get Anemo so I can painlessly progress. Well, that was expected. So, continuing with my favorite characters. I love the relationship he has with Nahida. It is truly unique in nature. Not exactly familial, but not just friendship either. They understand and respect each other in ways only two immortal beings can, and I think that's beautiful. Anyone in Sumeru that I dislike. It's ironic coming from a Dori main, but I don't like Dori. I didn't know much about her before the challenge, but after looking into her, I had to come to the conclusion that she has a terrible personality. She shows no remorse exploiting vulnerable people, and she's contributing to the same system that made her suffer, and while she's funny as this selfish gremlin, she's not growing as a character. She feels the most real to me, as in a bad experience that could happen to everyone, and that's probably why she's generally disliked by people. Now, I wonder if this was a different case if they used the tall female model for her design. Okay, moving on to my Fontaine favorites. Furina and Nuvilette are obviously the stars of the Archon quest. I was interested in Furina since the Fontaine teaser because of her attitude, and it was clear that she's just putting up an act while hiding something huge. I had no doubts that she's going to solve the crisis in a way she might not even know yet, and I trusted her character because of the narrative. I was expecting that playing her current role and collecting Indemnitium is her actual task in that plan, and she's executing it perfectly. But I had no clue how it's going to play out, and oh my, somebody gave her a hug. Nuvilette, yeah, he's great. Yeah. I wanted to include other regions too, because some of my favorites are a bit special in that regard. Take Rhindot there, for example. I haven't even seen her on screen, but she's easily my most awaited character. What is she doing all that for? Girl, why are you carving out souls from the abyss to make humans? Or take Dainsleif, come on, you just gotta love someone like him. There are so many theories about him. My favorite is him being the third descender. Someone I dislike but can't really assign to a region is a Dottore. Dislike is an understatement. I hate him from my guts. He's the most vile person I have seen in Genshin. He's so manipulative and inhumane, a wonderfully despicable and terrifying character. I'm definitely pulling for him when he comes out. Alright, if you're still not tired of my voice and my takes, I'm gonna mention my favorites from each element. I will go over them briefly because I would repeat myself a few times. I have already covered my favorite two Anemos, for example, Wanderer and Xianyin. As for Geos, I really adore Navia. She's such a strong person and feels so human. I also love how drippy she is, it's unfair. I have already mentioned Albedo for the guys, but I just really hope to see more of him. His lore is my favorite in the game, and he's quite easy on the eyes, as Kaya would say. My favorite Electro girl is Fischl. She's funny, and I adore all of her antics. It turns out we seriously lack Electro males, so I guess I'm choosing Cyno. I want to know more about the god inside him. I have already talked about Radish, so here's my favorite male character, Kaveh. I could just really empathize with him, and I think I understand where he's coming from, so yeah, I can feel that perfectionism. I know. Okay, let's move on to Hydro. Favorite Hydro female character? I would have said Mona, but Furina literally stole the show. My favorite Hydro male character is Child. My least favorite Hydro male character is also Child. Favorite Pyros? Dia! Excellent writing, I love her design and her personality. She's so badass and smart and pretty. Yeah. From the Pyro males, it's Diluc. I've already talked about him. From the Cryos, I like Shanha. I love how blunt she is, and she's one of the characters with a lot of potential to grow, so I'm excited to see her during Lantern Rite. Her new skin is really pretty too. The other favorite of mine is Kaya. He's a walking lore bomb. I will become a different person during the Conria chapter. Okay, what do I like for their gameplay? Ah, so good. It's just so satisfying. Favorite designs? Yeah. Yeah. Least favorite designs. What's the point of those holes? Why does it look like he's wearing a diaper? How does that even work? Anyways, now we have enough Geoculi for another upgrade. Yay! We have reached the end of this Q&A session. Thanks again for the questions. Now I have something to ask. It might be silly, but I got very curious about this. Which Genshin character do I remind you of, if any? Just comment whoever comes to your mind, you don't have to take it too seriously. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I know it's not my usual content, but if you did have fun, give this video a like and let me know. And as always, thank you for being here. Take care, bye bye!